special welcome to all of you who are watching right here on BNN TV, on RCN TV, on YouTube, and on the World Wide Web. That's right, the program is now international. We are seen everywhere. And how appropriate, because we have all sorts of things to talk about tonight. My special guests tonight, Frank Czarnowski and also Andrea Sweeny, will join Jim Sayer and myself on a very special program tonight here on BNN TV. You know, folks, it's a very, very important time here in Massachusetts because we're going into spring. In fact, today, if you're watching, the first day of spring, we have a lot of projects here. Odyssey just finished wrapping up. Jim is going to talk a little about that. We have another project coming here next week, in a few more weeks. In the summer, it seems hot right here in the Bay State. So before we get into our program, let's invite you to give us a call. We're cablecasting live right here. BNN TV would like your comments, concerns, issues, questions, whatever. 617-708-3280. 617-708-3280 right here on BNN TV. Hey, Jim.
John, how you doing?
Good. It's been a while since you and I co-hosted the program.
That's the last show, John.
And you know one of the reasons, Jim, well, one of the reasons is because the weather here has been so inclement. But now we've got some warm weather coming, some projects coming. The Bay State's going to be hosting a few movies here soon. What's going on?
Well, like you say, John, the weather's been extremely cold this year. And the people in Hollywood, they're in no hurry to unpack their bags and come east. I can tell you that. They keep on delaying some of the shows that they probably should have been started in January and February because of the snow and the weather. They put them off till July now, in August. We have Daniel Craig, Mr. Bond, James Bond. He'll be appearing here next week for a month. He's going to shoot a movie. And then after that, we have one in May. I don't know the name of it or the title of it yet, but it's coming in May also. So we got two movies coming down the pipe.
And we just finished Odyssey, is that right?
Odyssey,
so was that an NBC TV pilot?
It was, a TV pilot and stuff. And that was here for a few weeks. Did you work as a gentleman worked it right here? Yeah, everybody kind of got a few hours in there on that. I worked it myself. I was a taxi driver.
Oh, good.
You know, they hooked me up in a cab from New York and made me drive around the city of Boston, and some people putting their hands out. You know, and I said, it says New York on the cab. You know, you can't go around in Boston in it. But they still flagging me down.
The magic of movie making, Jim. The magic of movie making. Our special guest tonight, Frank Czarnowski. I'm pronouncing that correctly, right, Frank? And Andrea Sweeny joins us as well. And, you know, Jim has often told us that many people from Emerson College watch the program. And you are from Emerson College, is that right?
I am, yes.
Tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I'm currently a BFA musical theater major at Emerson College. I just found out officially this week because after our sophomore year we have to re-audition because there's a cut program. And I found out I made it into studio, so I'm pretty
Competition everywhere,
that.
Jim, huh?
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
And Emerson, like I said, we always talk to a lot of people from Emerson.
We do. We get calls from them all the time.
We do. We even put in for acting jobs because they're very nice to us.
Right.
They help us and stuff, and we're glad to have someone on the show from Emerson.
Thank you.
There's nothing better than acting if you want to be an actor, and the important thing is to get involved with that. And my good friend Frank is here to tell us about that. Now, you've been acting for a little bit, right?
For a little while, yeah. I actually started when I was in high school.
Okay.
You know, theater. And then, I mean, you know, it's an hour show, so I'm not going to get too in depth. But I went into the military, and when I got out of the military, I still had the acting bug. So I auditioned for Big Julie and Guys and Dolls for theater. And I said, if I get the role, these people don't know, if I get the role, I'll continue on acting because I think I'm halfway decent. If I don't, I'll never do it again. And so obviously I get the role because
great experience too.
I continue on acting. So and then you know, I met up with a buddy of mine, Scott Norville, and you know, he got me into the local independent. You know, which is absolutely booming out here.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, and you know, I hooked up with Boston Casting, and you know, I met you, and
right. You and I worked on a few projects together.
Yeah, and then I ended up getting an agent, so you know, out of the deal. So it's pretty cool.
Now, Andrea, yourself, you've been.
I've been. I started off with musical theater when I was 6 in Monterrey, Nuevo León, in Mexico, which is where I was born and raised. And then I moved to California when I was around 10 and continued pursuing that and got into the commercial film aspect of the industry. And then I decided it was either I go to college or I remain doing that in LA forever. And I decided I wanted a degree and to come out here to the East Coast to experience a new climate, not just climate, but
new, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Different from LA, right?
Yes,
Right?
very, very different. But just different environment. And Emerson was my dream school. So.
Well, Emerson is like the number one for public relations,
Yeah.
movies, speech, anything like that.
Well, the film program at Emerson College is absolutely amazing. I've done countless student films there now, and it's the majority of what it's on my reel
Right,
now.
they have a satellite in LA too. I've been in
Yeah,
Burbank.
they've just got this new campus that they're really excited about. And I can't go there as a BFA major, but most majors
Now,
can.
what do you do here?
Here I do a lot of acting
Right.
outside of school as
You
well.
sing too.
And I sing, yes. I
Right.
write music and my own songs. And
Right.
I also sing musical theater. I'm a radio host for SRO, which is Standing Room Only on WERS 88.9.
Emerson radio station, that's what that is.
Yes, and also a host for The Playground, which is the children's show on WERS. It's a professional radio station on Emerson's campus, so it's a nice experience with the professional radio world as well.
And that's something we always talk, excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt, that's something we always talk about. You just can't do one thing.
I was
You
just
gotta do
thinking about
many
that, right? And
things.
Frank
And
is a testament to that
what
too,
everybody
because of
should
what
be
he's
doing,
done.
what she's
Right,
doing,
right.
is getting your hands involved in a lot
Right.
of different things, because you
Exactly.
never know when they're going to hire you for anything. They can hire you for a lot of things right now.
I mean, yeah, it's true. And I mean, I think in the entertainment world, everything kind of blends into each other. With radio, I'm listening to Broadway music or whatever music I'm playing constantly and learning from that, and really practicing talking to my listeners. They call in and ask me to play a song or just to give them more information on certain areas, musical theater and whatnot. And that just ties into the theater world, so I'm immersed in that. And the film world is very similar, but different techniques, obviously. So I mean, I find myself exploring all these different areas of communications. That is, and it's so amazing. I mean, Emerson just provides outlets for all.
And not only that, but your the locality that we're in provides
Yes.
that as well.
Absolutely, downtown Boston, everywhere you go.
Yeah.
I mean,
Frank, you know that.
No, it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy out there. I mean, it's
Now, just in the few years that you've been in, recently you've been
Right.
involved with a lot of this.
right. It's something. You don't have to go to California to become an actor. It's right here.
Most of it's here.
coming here.
Much of
and
it's here.
the thing I like about it, like people go, "Oh, you're going to go to LA?" Well, no. One, I have a career. I have a day job also.
Right. As most people do in this business, right.
And so I have to pay the bills. But you're a big fish in a little pond out here. Why be a little fish in a big pond out in LA when here it's
Right.
I mean, you go to these film sets and you're constantly seeing people, the same people on these film sets. So you realize how small of and how tight of a
Community is,
community
right,
it is.
right.
And the acting community is out here.
Right.
And it's amazing. And then you meet contacts, you meet friends, and that's how things start rolling. I mean, people talk about the independent film industry, and they're like, "Oh, you do independence," and well, yeah. I mean, that's how I get my voice. You know what I'm saying? That's how people see my acting ability. I can do a million extra roles, and stand in the background somewhere, and maybe if you don't blink, you'll see me. But the independent is
Right.
where you're getting an actor will get his voice
Right,
heard.
and we see more and more of the independent films, right, Jim? I mean, more and more, not only that, but student films as well. People who are doing their student projects with Emerson and Harvard and BU and things like that. People have come here and talked about that. But the independent film, there's an enormous...
It's always been
Market
big
for
around
that.
here, John. Before LA and New York always
Right.
gets all the movies and everything like that. Independent films was our bread and butter here.
Right.
That's what everybody was trying to get into, and they had, like you say, you go to a big fish pond and stuff like that. It was tough back then, years ago, to get into an independent film. That's how hard it was, because there was very few movies here, so everybody went to the independent roles.
Right.
But today now, we have so many movies, TV shows, and hopefully a pilot and stuff coming this way. Everybody will get a chance to do a lot more.
Now, we're going to show a reel, and this is what's called a reel. It's
Right.
like your work, so
Right.
you bring it to people to...
What happens is when I get asked to, obviously, like Beverly, who's my agent, she'll submit me, and she'll submit my headshots and my reel, and it's maybe a 2-minute reel, and all it is my acting ability.
And
you know?
people who are interested in doing a film will see what you're all about,
Right.
and then we'll
Right.
bring you in for an audition,
Right.
or an interview, whatever.
Right.
And we're going to see that in just a few moments. We have our technical people, taking care of that right now. But what we're going to do is have you give us a call. Any of you that may have a question, concern, issue, or situation.
License registration. Whoa, I see. Slow down. Sudden movements.
I didn't hear. I'm going to meet these Americans. Should be quick. Watch the elevators and watch the stairs. I'll let you know when I'm on my way down. Police, drop the gun! Son, you don't want to do this. Where were these Americans, O'Toole?
I met with the brother Blue. He's agreed to meet with you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock in his downtown office.
Good. I need you to check out that Mace. He came to me today. Asked me to do something for him. I don't trust him. Also, I got a meeting with that big boss. I need you to check everything out. And I do mean everything.
Please drop the gun. Drop the gun. Hey!
No, possession without a license, state of Massachusetts, outside your business or home, 2.5 to 5 years in prison, or 8 months to 2.5 years in jail, with a minimum mandatory of 8 months.
I got a feeling you want to get rid of some dead weight. And I feel that Big Boss is that dead weight.
He's becoming a thorn.
Yeah, he is. But I feel that you can get rid of him.
Wait a minute. You want me to get rid of Big Boss? For you?
Certainly. Business is business.
Yes. I tend to say that from time to time.
That was Frank. Very realistic.
Thank you.
So now we've seen what a reel is like, right?
Right. Yeah, I did that myself too.
Okay.
I didn't hire anybody. I got like an editing system, like a Sony editing system, and on my computer, and I just I get all my clips and and I put it together and made it into a 2-minute reel.
Now you were in a film.
Yes.
Are in a film called Against the Jab.
Yes.
Is that correct? And
Yes.
I got the card right here.
Yep.
And that's opening up April 11th. Is
April
that correct?
11th, yes. It's going to be at the Lowe's Theater, and the theater is at Tremont Street.
Yes.
in
Not far
Boston.
from where we are right now, as a matter of fact.
And, Patrick Jerome was the director, Broadway Entertainment,
It's probably about 2 blocks from
Yeah.
Emerson,
Right.
right?
Leon is the lead character, and it's about this DJ, Mike. 94.5 has that not Jabs, that's the name of the movie. How they always make fun of, they call somebody up and they say, and then, they say, it's one of those things when they call you, and you get all upset and paranoid, and then they say, it's one of those jam scam.
Yeah, jam scam.
So that's what this is Against the Jab. Mike jabs people on the radio, and it gets them all pumped up and everything. Well, it's and one of them, the whole synopsis of the movie is one of them seems to go wrong, and this whole spiral has a spiral effect. And that's the movie, and my good buddy Scott Noville is the co-star, is another lead, the co-lead in the movie, which is awesome, especially for him. He's been doing this for 13 years, so it's awesome for him. And I got a nice little role in it, and it was one of my first auditions, and to get the role, and. It's kind of funny because I was just talking about, we were talking about the reel and everything.
Right.
And I said how I get typecasted, which is awesome for me. Hey, typecast me all you want,
Right.
That's fine with me. And so I was walking into the audition, and somebody was like, they were like Streets of San Francisco. I was walking down the hall,
Right.
and I'm a little older, so I know what Streets of San Francisco
Right.
is. So I kind of chuckled a little bit, and he goes, "What are you auditioning for?" I said, "Oh, it's kind of funny you said that." And a cop, So, I have a little cop role in it, and, it's going to be awesome. So it's April 11th, Lowe's Theater, 8 o'clock.
That's a Friday night.
That's a Friday night.
Right.
8 o'clock is when the movie starts.
Right.
And, he has a big red carpet event and everything going on that day. that night, and it's going to be awesome. Everybody come on out and support. And this is another, like we were talking about, the local independent film industry. This is an independent film that has Hollywood actors attached to it. Leon's huge. Anybody that's old enough saw Cool Runnings. He was one of the Jamaican bobsled team guys. And so he's big. And he's a Hollywood actor that came out here and did a movie. So it's a great movie. It's a real good movie.
Right, it's a hot area, not for films, but for independent films, as we've just seen too.
Yes, John. You'll see a lot more of them coming. Like I said, Emerson College is great. BU is also great for doing a lot of independent films, and they like to come on the show. Hopefully, more of them come on the show, and we like having them. And we like talking to see what the movies they're trying to make. And a lot of people in Boston listen to the movies. They see mostly the mafia movies or the Charlestown, South Boston and stuff, especially with Whitey Bulger and stuff. But we have a lot else to give besides them and stuff. We have a lot of good movies that could do, like this movie Against the Jab, or any movie that Emerson does. We had a few people from Emerson call us a couple times and tell us. And I went out for an independent film at Emerson College, and they're a great crew over there.
Now, are you involved with Boston Casting, LDI Casting?
I am. Actually, now that you mention it, I just signed with Model Club, which is an agency here in Boston, a couple weeks ago, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, I'm in the radar for Boston Casting and a couple of other online outlets for that. But speaking on the independent film, my experience in LA, I did some extra work as well. I was in Santa Claus 3 a while back, and I got a little cameo in that. And it's, the huge productions, huge studio films, which are amazing and great. But there's something so beautiful about the independent film here, especially in Boston, that I've found through Emerson or other independent projects I've gotten involved with, that it's very personable, obviously, and you really get a sense for the collaborative art that is film. Everyone is important in sets like that, and you kind of feel that, especially at Emerson. The way they run their sets, at least what's been my experience, is very professional. Very obviously, that's what they want to do with their life.
I was just going to say that they're doing that because that's what they want to do.
Of course, yeah.
Right. And they think outside the box.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? They don't stereotype everybody. They have come up with these other great independent movies that we've seen and stuff like that. They're not about the same thing all the time. They're different, And I know a lot of people who want to come in to be independent. A lot of people. I have a friend watching for the first time tonight, Catherine. Hope you're watching tonight. And we could have her show up right up at Emerson College, and she could do it. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can do these. That's the key. Anybody.
And you've had a big range of things that you've done too.
I'm
And you mentioned typecasting, but you've done other things too.
Right. I'm actually I'm in the middle of a project right now, Screen Wolf Entertainment, and it's called You Didn't Know, and I play a
Cop?
I play a Polish gangster actually, and this is going to be this guy I portray, Mikolai. He's ruthless, So I mean,
you can have a lot of fun with that. Too.
I'm having a blast with it.
And we're going to come back to that in just a moment. Can we have your question, Jim? We have a phone call. Can we have your question, please?
Hi, I have a question for Frank.
Yep.
I was wondering what made Frank decide to be a police officer, and will being a police officer always be his main focus, and acting will be something that he does to enjoy and express himself?
Well, I've always wanted to be an actor. Acting has been my passion I've always wanted to be an entertainer. I mean, you could talk to my family members, we have family get-togethers, and I used to, it's going to sound funny, but I used to do Michael Jackson portrayals and stuff like that when I was a kid. I was a huge Michael Jackson fan when I was younger. And, I used to, lip sync and everything to his songs and everything. So, I was one of those clowns that, as a little kid, everybody would like, oh yeah, go ahead, and they'd egg you on, and you'd think you're doing something great. Well, I always wanted to entertain.
You had an audience.
So
That's what an actor needs.
So, what happened was, just like anything else, I ended up getting a family and everything, and not that it's a bad thing, but I ended up having a family, and I needed a job to support them, to live. So, thank God for the military, I ended up becoming a cop.
But not only that, though, but it gives you a good background, though.
You know what's funny?
It gives you a great background.
It's funny you say that because I was talking to I always refer back to my buddy Scott Norville because me and him talk all the time. And I said, I'm a little older now, and I said, geez, I kind of wish I had done this when I was in my 20s. I really pursued it tight, And he said, well, maybe you needed that cop background to get you into this, and kind of like round yourself out because now and I guess I bring, whenever, like they want a realism with like police, who better than a cop that can act?
Well, not only that, but people are looking for everyday people that come from everyday life, too, for the movie.
And if you look at me, I'm not your stereotypical Hollywood actor. I'm not 120 pounds,
But they want character actors, Frank. They want people who look the part, act the part, and who better than the person that has that background.
Right.
And you've seen that, too.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I tried a lot of different things growing up, sports-wise, karate-wise, whatnot, and gymnastics especially. And now that I dance and I sing and I act, everything, all those experiences come together in my acting especially.
Jim, I don't think there's one thing that we haven't had on this show in the last couple of months.
I've seen a lot, But that's good. Do you speak Spanish also?
I do, yeah.
Now, when you're at Emerson and you go on the radio, do you speak Spanish?
Yeah. Not on the radio. There are some names that are Hispanic, and so I'll pronounce those the way they're supposed to be pronounced. But
is there a lot of Spanish people trying out for acting or dancing at Emerson?
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know if there's a big Hispanic market here.
There's a big Hispanic market with Telemundo.
Yeah,
that's a big Hispanic market, but we're seeing more and more because the United States, the second language is Spanish.
Yeah.
So it's important to be bilingual, even not in the entertainment industry, too.
Yeah.
Now, I understand you have a reel, just like Frank.
I do, yes.
And we're going to get that ready. 617-708-3280. 617-708-3280. A very special welcome to all of you who are watching us here on BNN TV, Channel 23, right here in Boston on Comcast Television. Also on RCN Channel 83. Very special welcome to all of you who are watching us right now on live stream worldwide. And also thanks to our special media guru, Ted Lewis, you are now watching us on YouTube as well. Andrea Sweeny, we're going to see in just a few seconds.
Welcome back. We're here with Brian Higgins and Maria Schneider, who've been working around the clock investigating claims of paranormal activity right here in this town.
Actually, what we have discovered is that there are no ghosts in this town. There never have been, there never will be, because the reality is, my part...
Tommy! Who is this? Emily? Emily, is that you?
Tommy, there's so much blood.
Emily?
Sarah! Sarah!
You're sick, and you need help.
Jim, those were all Emerson films.
Very good. Very good. Like I said, they always think outside the box. I always applaud Emerson. They always got something
We're going
new.
to talk to you about that in just 1 second. Can we have your call, please?
Yes, good evening. How
Hi.
you doing?
Good.
This is Helen.
Hi, Helen.
And I just wanted to let you all know I was enjoying the show.
Oh, thank you.
And I'd like to know if there's an age limit.
No.
If there's a what?
Age limit.
No, there isn't. And the reason that there isn't is because filmmakers want to have a reflection of society, and there is no age limit in society, right, Jim? Pretty much.
I went to an audition last month and had it be 55 to 75.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So there isn't. So
Boston Casting should be looking for me very soon.
well, you're going to be on stage soon, aren't you, Helen?
As
Pretty
soon
much?
as possible.
As soon as possible. Okay.
With Tyrone.
With Ty, right? Good friend of Tyrone's. Thank you. So I'm glad you're enjoying the program.
I'm enjoying it.
Thank you.
All right,
617. Thank you. 617-708-3280. 617-708-3280. The importance of the motion picture industry right here in the Bay State. Now that spring is here, movies are coming, right, Jim?
They are, John, and hopefully the winter's over.
Right. Oh, we all hope for that.
Like I said, they don't want to come this way when there's rain, snow, and stuff. They'll film in the earthquakes and the mudslides in L.A.
Right.
They'll film around that.
Right. And one of the last shows that we did, and I suppose that even that's okay because we have now called the New England studio that's here that we can do a lot of pre and post-production. Right?
Chris Byers was on the show.
Right.
And we're going to go out there, me, you, and Ted.
And we're going to do a show.
Ted's going to come out there and film it and stuff and see how updated the studio is.
Right.
That's a big boost for us. You know, for years everyone's been saying people in Boston or Massachusetts don't have a studio that they can film at. Well,
right.
Now we have.
Now
it,
we do.
And we can do it year-round, which is very important.
And the attraction of Massachusetts is the location.
I'm going to tell you what, there's a lot of history out here. We got, colonials. The buildings are hundreds of years old here.
Right.
So whenever you want, old, I don't know, whenever you want something old, come to Boston. Boston actually preserves the history, where a lot of places in Massachusetts doesn't, but Boston actually preserved their history. Right. You got Faneuil Hall, which is, the Constitution was signed there. You know what I'm saying? So, it's amazing what you
go right
get
through
out
the
here.
north end, into Old Ironside, over there in Charlestown.
L.A. is attractive and it's appealing, and it's been used for many, many years, but now South Boston, Dorchester, Charlestown, that's the look that people are looking for.
They're looking right near the water.
Right.
They like the water background. You've seen it in The Departed when it was here. You see it when Leo was here for, Mystic River, which was here also.
Mm-hmm.
You see a
Way back.
Yep.
They
just
Clint
like
Eastwood,
Boston.
right?
Yeah, they just love Boston now.
Right.
It's a hot town.
Right.
And like I think New York and LA, you've seen New York and LA and all these movies.
Right.
So everything's like used up in a way, I still think New York and LA will still be the number one, but Boston will be slowly catching up.
And we just did, we talked about the Odyssey, which I got to work on. It's kind of funny because this is where I got to realize that people don't look at uniforms, they just look at badges, because I get the New York uniform, police officer uniform on, and they were asking me, we filmed in Post Office Square.
Yep.
And they were like, they would ask me for directions. I don't know.
Image is everything.
I'd sit there, was like, it says, New York City, New York Police Department. I don't know. I'm not.
We have a lot of
Boston police
tourists. A
officer.
lot of tourists come into the city and stuff, especially when they see a movie set. They come right up to it.
And that's true, Jim. A couple of years ago, a young man and a young lady, actually middle-aged, so they've been around for a while, but they asked me, they said, you have some beautiful buildings here. I said, yeah, Boston has some great buildings. They said, where's Cheers? Yeah. I said, well, it's not really the bar, but I'll give you that general direction. They said, we'd like to see it. And I said, by the way, when you go by Cheers, make sure you see the beautiful State House, too, because that's a magnificent building. They said, Cheers wasn't filmed. I said, the exterior was.
Right.
But that's how important location is. We have a question. Can we have a question, please?
Yes, I have a question for Andrea.
Yep.
Andrea, is your first love singing or acting? And have you ever had any formal training in singing?
Good question.
Wow, I get asked this all the time. My first love, I guess it was singing. I was singing, since I was 6, and I started off being professionally trained classically, and then I moved on to musical theater, pop, country, other different genres. And musical theater was my first passion before I moved on to film and television. But the more I did film, the more I did television, I really started to grow to love that because it's very different and the same in a way in terms of the technique is different. It's more personable. In film, it's smaller. It's more genuine. But the beauty of theater is that you're still conveying those genuine, real emotions, but on a broader scale, so that the person in the back row can hear it. And with theater, you can, you can add singing, dancing, and all of that without being stopped per take and whatnot. So it's give and take. Both of them are amazing.
There's nothing like live, Frank and Jim. Nothing like live theater, right?
Yeah.
I'm actually I'm doing I'm a Mason, so I'm doing a play, a Masonic play, with them, and
Can you tell us the name of it?
It's called Rose Upon the Altar.
Okay.
And it was written, I want to say the 20s, because some of the way they spoke back then, it's like you sit there like, oh my God, you trying to memorize the lines and everything, and but it's so awesome after doing some film to actually go back to theater and seeing like the different, going from memorizing a whole script in just a couple scenes, and getting your cues and how important your cue lines are, and memorizing the line, a few lines prior to yours.
With a lot of people watching at the same time.
And it's all live,
Right.
so it's like,
Right.
if you screw up, you screw up.
Right.
And
Right.
Just keep on going.
and that's it.
Right.
And you just got to, and it's so cool, and I'm so happy to be back in it. I mean, like I said, to be a well-rounded actor, you should do some theater, because
It's the best training.
theater is absolutely amazing. I love doing theater. I really do. I love doing theater.
And there's an energy. There's an energy to it.
You're
being
feeding
on
off
stage.
the audience.
Yeah,
Instant
exactly.
gratitude.
Right.
Instant gratitude is
Yes.
what you get. You
Right.
get that
Right.
applause right there.
Yeah, and
And I think when people, and like you said, you do theater, you know when you had a good night.
Right.
The audience will
Because
let
of the
you know.
reaction.
That's right. The audience lets you know right off the bat. There's no going back and just saying, I messed up or I didn't miss a line or a cue or something like that. The audience will let you know, and the audience appreciate it. They really
Jim,
do.
not far from where we are right now, of course, we're right here in the Roxbury, Jamaica Plain, Boston area. We have a very vital theater district.
Yes.
A really vital theater district. And we want to keep that happening. We want to make sure that that continues. And that's one of the things that we wanted to mention to our audience tonight, because the Massachusetts film breaks,
That's correct.
so important. Right, Jim?
They're everything, John.
They're everything. And that gives a tax break for motion picture companies to come to Massachusetts and to make movies here. And how do we keep those tax breaks coming? How do we keep those tax breaks alive? Well, we contact our representatives, our state reps, our state senators, and say, look, make sure you vote for that tax break, those tax incentives. Keep that movie industry alive right here in the Bay State, right?
Right. We pay our dues. We belong to the Screen
Right.
Actors Guild. We pay our dues, and we let them people know that we want to keep movies here, independent movies or regular movies coming here, and we have to go up to the State House and talk to our reps. We all do it. We've all been there. And not only that, but we have a mayor now who lives in Dorchester, and he's for us 110%.
He supports the arts.
He supports them 110%, which is nothing better than the mayor of Boston coming in there. And I've talked to him, and I know John's probably
Oh,
going to
yeah, he's
talk
been
to
on
him.
our he's been on
He's
the program
great
years
guy,
ago, right? Yep.
Great guy.
Martin Walsh, right?
Yes, that's right, and he'll be right behind us, going up to the State House where he used to work as a rep.
Used to be a rep.
And he used to, all the time, he used to back us when he was a rep, and now he's the mayor of Boston. And that's a good one to have somebody on your side that's really helping you. And but like you say, you got to vote for these people, put them in office, independent films, Emerson College, and everything like that. We need them. We need them a lot.
This is where the movies are made here, right here, Roxbury, Dorchester,
That's right.
East Boston, downtown Boston. This is where the films are. 617-708-3280, 617-708-3280. We're cablecasting live right here on BNN TV, Comcast Television, RCN Channel 83, the World Wide Web. We're live streaming, folks. That's right. We now are international, and also, thanks to Ted Lewis, YouTube, social media.
Everything. All of us will have pictures out there. We all got to put our net movies out there.
All right.
That's how important it is.
Tell us about that.
It's very important. The social media, Facebook, YouTube, you could pretty much be your own agent just by the stuff that
Getting
you put
yourself-
out there. Putting
getting
yourself
your
out there.
stuff out there, right.
Getting your name out there. Just letting yourself,
Right.
obviously you need an agent for the contacts, but, just like around here, I can tell you how many times that just off of Facebook, how many auditions that I've, I got to do, and the contacts that I made in the industry that I would never have made anywhere else. People see my reel and realize that I'm an actor. And they friend me on Facebook, and they start talking.
Because within that social media universe, people feel the same way.
Right.
And they're looking for people like the independent. I'm sure that exists with the independent filmmakers too in Emerson.
Absolutely, and what's awesome is that it links us all together, so we get to know people who also love the same things that we love and connect us in that way. And I mean, it's so important to keep kind of encouraging each other in the arts as well. So when we, on Twitter, when you can retweet someone saying, oh, I got this great job, and kind of spread that around and be kind of supportive in that way.
And I think this is a tight, wouldn't you say, Jim, a tight community?
Yeah,
in
here
Boston, absolutely. In Boston.
Because it's not huge. It's not a huge community.
Right.
We're a good, close-knit. We talk to each other.
Right.
We
all know each other pretty much.
We all see each other, talk to each other on the sets, but we also can talk to anybody now. It's a lot easier, especially when you have Boston casting or CP casting, people out there who find jobs, but they're on Facebook also now. You can look them up and they can keep contact with them about anything.
We've even had stand-up comedy people on here. And that's another thing that's very difficult. Stand-up comedy is very, comedic acting, I've done that too, and you probably have too. Right. But being a stand-up comic, I think, is probably one of the most difficult.
Oh, yeah.
But Boston's big. We have a big comedy scene here.
Right.
Tyrone Elcom was on the set, and he does stand-up all the time. Tyrone, he's a nice
Leo
guy.
Dunn.
Leo Dunn's been on the show also. Stand-up. They say it's the hardest thing in the world.
I can't imagine it being more difficult.
They love it, though.
Because not only do they do that, and tied into what you were talking about, they also write their own material. Larry Miles, I sat next to Larry Miles during, we were filming once, and he's writing things down during his break, and he's saying, geez, I want to make sure I get this done by tomorrow. And I said, Larry, what are you doing? Larry used to work at Nick's. He said, I'm a stand-up comic. I said, yeah, but what are you writing? He said, I'm writing my material. I've got to do all of this. He was writing his own stuff. You have to do that.
Right. I'm actually, I'm huge on the improv. I love doing improv. That's another thing I like doing.
But you got to be prepared for that too.
You go to open mic.
I did one open mic night. It was a place called Comedy Crib. It was out in Brockton, and the kid liked me, so he said, "Why don't you come back?" I also do Hoobazoo Radio. It's an internet radio, and I'm on the booth. And what happens is I have this segment called Ask Z-Man.
I've seen it. Yeah,
and it's kind of like.
People talk about that.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Well, people. They're actually real questions, and I never see the question ahead of time, so everything's just off the cuff.
I've seen that on.
So my one of my co-hosts, Ken Diesenhoff, he gets the question, and they ask me marital advice. It's like a spoof off of Dear Abby, but so they ask, but I give the guy's version of the answer.
That's entertaining, right?
So if you're a woman, you might not like my answer.
You may
too
not
much,
agree with it,
but it started becoming like this funny thing.
This may be a question for you right now. Can we have your question, please? This might be it. Hello.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
I have a question for Andrea. I was wondering if she ever thought of doing voiceovers, because she certainly got the voice for it. And just one other comment. She reminds me of a young movie star years ago. I'm dating myself, Deanna Durbin. She wouldn't know her, but maybe her parents would. She was a very famous movie star, and she had a beautiful voice. And you certainly got that kind of face.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate that. I actually have thought of doing voiceovers. I have a few friends that are very active in that industry, and it's so cool to watch someone do a voiceover, because you wouldn't know, but when they're kind of in the voiceover, box, but they're actually,
acting.
embodying.
They're acting
embodying
too, right.
the whole, because that's how the voice comes out. You free your body, and you can do whatever voice, character voice, anything. I did one that they told me I definitely should do voiceovers once was when I did the Wicked Witch in Wizard of Oz, and I had this cackle and this placement in my voice that was so. People just were not expecting it. And since then I've been kind of playing with different voices and whatnot, and Emerson's an amazing place in that way, because we have these recording studios, and so I've been working on a voiceover reel. But so thank you so much for your encouragement.
Voiceover has taken over the last 2 or 3 years.
Right, because there's so much animation
now. A lot of
now,
people, that's right. A lot of people have gotten into it, and their classes is booked If you wanted to get in a voiceover class now, you'd have to probably wait till June to get in. That's how crowded it is.
And Emerson excels in that, I know.
Yeah, no,
That's good.
absolutely. I mean, in communications in general. But
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you've done it. You've done that, too.
I've done a couple of commercials, like, radio commercials, stuff like that. It's enunciation is very important when you do voiceover.
But it's not only doing the Secret Service and the police officer, it's doing all of these things on stage, comedy routines,
right.
whatever else that they're asking for, whatever they're looking for. And I was talking, Jim knows the story, the last few times I think I've mentioned it. Bob Hope was doing a TV program, and there was an actress who was on with him. And she told the director, she said, I'm not going to sing that song. I can't sing. So the director went into the dressing room and said, "Oh, Mr. Hope, we have a problem here. The actress, your guest, she can't do the next scene." And he said, "And why can't she?" And he said, "Because she said she can't sing." And Bob said, "Well, she's in entertainment, isn't she?" She sang.
Right.
She sang.
Right. Right. That's important. I mean, when you get into this entertainment, it's entertainment. Right. You know what I'm saying? You're not just a movie actor.
Right.
You're not just you're an entertainer.
Right.
You're there to entertain. I'll do almost anything. I won't say anything. I'll do almost anything. And as long as it has an entertainment value to it, I'll go up there. I'll act like a clown if you want me to. I'll sing a song, but hey, make sure you have that disclaimer. No, I don't sing, but make sure you have that disclaimer saying that, I'm not a professional singer, but I'll sing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because, one thing I also like doing is I like making people laugh. I want people to feel happy when they it's all about making, if my spirit feels good, then every,
You want to feel the way you did when you were a kid and you got that audience to, right?
And it's awesome, and now you get to do it on a bigger scale, and there is nothing more rewarding than being an entertainer.
What are we looking at for the summer?
2 or 3 good movies, John. Big movies kind of come in, and we're going to, like I said, Hollywood's delayed everything, and we have to wait, but we're looking for 2 or 3 good movies coming in, big blockbuster. We have one that's going to be shown out down the Cape. I know they wanted to start filming in January, but because of the weather, it's supposed to be 5 months.
Oh, that's good.
Film here.
It's like R.I.P.D. a few years ago, remember?
5 months, R.I.P.D., $110 million movie.
Right.
It's a big budget. And this one's not going to be as big, but they're going to start filming down the Cape, I believe, next month. For 5 months, off and on.
Any TV pilots like Odyssey?
Odyssey was here. Right. Now they always have to wait to find out they get picked up. Right. That's the key. They have a series here. We don't have one. New York has them. L.A. has them. For us to play with the big boys, we have to get one. And that's the key, because that's every week you're showing up. When we did Body of Proof in Rhode Island, I worked 12 straight weeks. Every week, two times a week.
Rhode Island, that was hot for a while, too.
That's right. Body of Proof was the show for that 1 year. Right. When they started out. Everybody was working it.
Do we have another call, Jim?
One more, John.
Yes, I have a question for Frank. Frank, I was wondering, what is your favorite type of character to play, and what would you say is the hardest part for you to play?
This character I'm playing now, Mikolai, the Russian gangster, is so opposite of who I am as a person. And, to be a gangster. And my biggest thing was, can I carry a movie? I'm actually the lead character in the movie. And can I carry a movie using an accent? Because I don't speak it, obviously I'm Polish, So that right there, right now, is my favorite. Right now is my favorite type of character to play. It's because it's so opposite from me. And
that's the best part about it. Because you can just do anything you want. You can let all your anger out and stuff, because that's who you're supposed to be in this movie. You don't have to hold back. No. No matter what you do, it's right.
I mean, the police thing's easy to play because, what I do. But the fun, it doesn't get any funner than to be a gangster and, to just be ruthless, Yeah,
you can break the rules because you're usually setting the rules. Now you can break every rule that's going that way.
Right, so it's a blast.
What's going on with you in the summer?
In the summer, I'm waiting to hear back. The past 2 years I've done something called Broadway Under the Stars, with Transcendence Theater Company up in Sonoma, and it's basically a lot of Broadway artists and entertainment professionals coming together and producing this show that's inspiring in some way. So each show we have a theme. I'm usually part of the kids' family weekend show, and it's just incredible shows at concerts that we give. And when I first got it, I wasn't sure what my place was there because I was 10 years younger than everybody else in the show, and I was performing with big Broadway stars that had already long established careers, and but they, it's all about what you can bring to your art and what you
That's
can give.
so important, Frank. What you can bring. And
yeah. Right. I mean, it's just
when people walk in, see you on the screen, you're a believable character.
Right. That's what it's all about. I mean, it's almost like acting is you're just portraying life.
It's an out-of-body experience.
Yeah, it's just like this character I'm playing now. It's just there'll be times. I remember one time I sat there. I was like, wow, I have such a hard time getting angry. And so you just think of something that just really just aggravates you. And it's like, oh, it's not as tough as I thought it was to get. And that was always my Achilles heel. Was like, how do I get angry on screen? Now it's how do I make tears?
And when you work with all these other people, these stars who are young, much older than you, that's paying for classes. People pay for classes to learn. You know what I'm saying? And they pay a lot of money, but you got that experience just being around them each day and listening to them and show them how they work and stuff. Like I said, people pay a lot of money, and you can get that from a lot of different people.
Absolutely.
Now, if somebody wanted to get in contact with you, do you do concerts?
Yeah, absolutely. I just, I have a bunch of different songs. I could play my own songs. I could do covers of different old songs, contemporary songs, anything. And you can go to my website. That's andreasweeny.weebly.com. Weebly is WEEBLY.com. And and I just have my contact information there, and my resume, videos, anything. I love.
For people who are watching the program now, if they wanted to see you within the next few weeks or few months, do you have a location?
A location?
Are you playing at a club or?
I don't actually. This semester, last semester, if you would have asked me that, I would have. But this semester, I really, because of the re-auditions for the BFA program, I really focused on school. And this next weekend, I'm going to be gone in New York auditioning for some shows that are actually going to be playing here.
Right.
But it's funny that I have to go to New York to audition for shows that are happening in Massachusetts.
We get that.
We get that a lot.
We get that a lot.
Yeah.
But both of you are doing so much, and then you both have other things that you're doing too, like your day jobs.
Right.
And that's your day job too, going to school. I mean, that's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
But you're doing all of these different things, and you're so eclectic. You have this background. How do you keep everything together?
Well, actually, I also coach high school football, which is kind of cool because they haven't collided yet, So I haven't had to make that choice: coach football, act, and obviously I think I know it's going to end up winning over that.
Right, but that's seasonal.
Right. So from I say from near the middle of August, the end of November, December, depending on how we do. I'm coaching football,
That's good.
And which is pretty good because a lot of things aren't being filmed around that time. It's about the film is just about ending at that time, because now it's starting to get into the bad weather.
Right.
So it's pretty cool. So it hasn't, collided yet.
Right.
So I haven't had to make this choice, and then, I should have I think I should have just been a single guy because, I'm involved with my church. I'm on my church council,
But everything comes together.
Yeah,
Frank.
everything
comes together.
You got to be a well-rounded person to be a good entertainer, and that's, life experience is huge,
But you bring that, you do too.
Yeah.
You bring that to your craft. that's your craft. You bring that to what you do.
Well, it's definitely, and it's a balancing act, right? Because we not only do this profession, but there's all these other aspects of life.
Yeah.
And what I really found last semester in school, definitely, because I was working professionally outside of school, I was balancing school work and doing, student productions and everything, and that ended up becoming my entire life all the time, and I got really burned out. And so I realized over Christmas break and whatnot coming this semester that it's also important as for our craft and entertainment to seek to live your life in alignment, so that you make time for yourself, make time for friends, make time for those experiences that are not necessarily always work, because that definitely was me. I was a little bit of a robot in that sense that I wanted to always be professional, but you have to be a human being.
This makes it complete, right?
Yeah.
It's like sort of like somebody wanted to contact you.
I got
Do you have a website or
I have a Facebook.
or?
My Facebook is just my name, Frank Czarnowski.
Okay. Spell your last name for us.
C as in cat, Z as in zebra, ARNOWSKI.
Okay.
I think I'm the only one on Facebook. So I haven't really got the Twitter thing down yet. But like whenever I upload something on YouTube, it automatically goes to my Twitter account. Then it goes to Facebook because I really haven't.
Ted will give you.
We have a media. The show has its own media guru that is watching us tonight. So.
So I haven't really mastered the whole Twitter thing, so I'm still trying to get used to that. And I got an agency pro. You can give me an agency pro. So.
What a great show! Where did the time go, Jim? It goes by so quickly.
Great
right?
guest.
A whole hour.
It's been an hour.
Great guest, John. Makes our job easier.
Frank Czarnowski. Right?
Yes, Czarnowski.
And also Andrea Sweeny. Thank you both. Come back and join us. Come back and join us on the show.
That'd be great. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Jim, final words?
John, anybody can do this job we're doing here. We all acting, we make it seem sometimes more difficult than it really is. It's really not. I mean, you listen to other people, you pay attention, you can go to classes. It's a lot of fun. That's always the bottom line. You always have fun doing it and stuff. I mean, some days you go home, you're a little burnt out and stuff.
But you feel good.
You do. And everybody feels like they want to come back the next day.
Yeah.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you join us. Join us next time right here on BNN TV.